All right, welcome in. Hannah time. Cornelius Brad, Hannah. Global Sports Broadcasting Network right here on GSPN. We got a big show for you. We got a good one for you today. I'm going to be talking a lot with Luis Zendejas, former NFL kicker, Arizona State Sun Devil, and everything about outreach programs, community relations. He's done it all. He's definitely an Arizonan for sure, but his life experiences are tremendous. We'll get into him at the top of the show. We're going to go into the NFL playoffs from top to bottom. We're going to talk to Mark Mancini at the back end of the show and a lot more right here on Hannah Time. 30-second countdown. We'll see you in 30. Here we go. All right, welcome in. Hannah time on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. This is Cornelius Brad. Hannah coming in live from the studios of GSPN here in Arizona, the great state of Arizona itself. But I have a big guest coming in, Luis Zendejas, former NFL kicker itself, great college kicker himself for ASU, talking NFL playoffs. We're going to talk Cardinals. We're going to talk about the Sun Devils, a little bit about what's coming up next season, his input on that too. Super Bowl, cancer survivor event. There's so many different events going on in Arizona itself. Very, very excited about what's happening and starting to stir the pot a little bit with all the positive things about the Super Bowl, not just the game itself. And the state of Arizona is going to be doing a lot. And Luis has a lot to do with that too. And we'll be coming in here to talk about the big cancer survivor event that always is very, very relevant. No matter, everybody's been touched by somebody personally, family, friends, or knowing somebody, and it's just a very difficult time. But a lot of positive things come out of it too. The inspiration, the elevation of people who rise up and survive and get to tell the story. So there's always hope and love around that. Also, Mark Mancini, the madman himself, joins the show. We're going to go through a lot of the NFL playoff scenarios, a lot of stats, things like that. Have some fun with it. This is it. This is the NFL. This is late January stuff going on. We're going to get into scenarios, the great quarterbacks, the young quarterbacks in the NFL, the rival games, the potential rival games heading into next weekend. We have a rival Cowboy and Niner game. We got a giant Eagle rival game. I mean, kind of like old schoolish stuff going on in the NFC. The AFC is kind of new branding itself with some stud quarterbacks. It's a really special time for the NFL itself. And, my sponsors below, as you can watch below the screen itself, they're just scrolling along right there. We have Metal One Stable Coin. We have Dr. Eddie Gastroenterologist himself here locally in Maricopa County wide, and Double B Lodge in Pine Tap, Arizona. The book, A Peaceful War, is about the human computer chip itself. And GEYED, G-E-Y-E-D, the conscious active wear balance of just fabulous material, beautiful stuff. I love it. Check them out at GEYED.com. All right. So as we're waiting in on Luis to pop in on the screen, we'll get him in. He's probably loading up his app itself. That's always common to say. But let's get into a little bit, folks. When you think about the NFL playoffs, okay, and you think about what is is just the quarterbacks, the new wave of quarterbacks. Think about what's going on in the AFC alone. I mean, the final four quarterbacks are all the young quarterbacks that did what they were supposed to do, get to this point, play each other. The NFL is mad about this in a great way. You had quarterbacks that didn't make the playoffs or got knocked out from the AFC. There's a tremendous amount of talent coming through for the next 10 years for the NFL, or currently active in the NFL, that are quarterbacks that are going to be the new names of the NFL. And on the other side is the NFC, right? And you still have the Cowboys. You still have the 49ers going at it itself, right? There's no Brady. There's no more, Aaron Rodgers in the game, right? Yeah, there's a different feel, right? There's a different flavor going on around the NFL. So as things break through and we get to the big game in Arizona itself, no matter what happens, I think the NFL has pretty much got a lot out of this season alone. They have a lot to look forward to, and the Super Bowl itself will be the climactic moment for the NFL. But we're going to get into that more throughout the show, actually. And then we're also going to pop on Luis Zendejas, who is in our green room on the screen. We're going to pop him in, and I'm going to give him a nice intro as he's going to show his beautiful face. There he is. How are you, my man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very, very good. I'm glad. It's always great to talk to a native Arizonan, right? Or somebody who has really been part of our community itself. Let's see. I'm going to read what you put out there. I know a lot about it, but it's easier to read it and try to just come off the top of my head. But you've been part of the community relations, experienced director for sure. With you demonstrate a history of working in sports industry. Besides your former NFL kicker, former college great kicker for Arizona State. I mean, we're going to say great because we love you here. You're highly skilled in planning and customer service and sports management, event management, public speaking. You've done well, and you really branched yourself out after your career in football. You're strong community and social services professional, as you graduated from Arizona State, and, utilizing that NFL platform to launch this second part of your life. And, we're going to get into everything that you're going to be participating in and pushing through with this Cancer Survivor event for the Super Bowl, which is, one of many great things. But this is definitely a special one. That's really the main reason why I reached out. When I saw that, I was like, this is what I'm looking for. This is good stuff. We need some good stuff out there. But let me run through the list of teams so people know more. The Arizona Outlaws, which it was a professional league, all right, played at Sun Devil Stadium. Minnesota Vikings for a year. You got the Cowboys for a few years there. You got the Eagles. You got NFL-wise, the Arizona Rattlers, the Birmingham Barracudas, right? So you played a lot of different professional leagues besides playing at Arizona State University itself. And also, when you talk about playing in the NFL, in the playoffs, all right, I want to hit you right away with one of these questions about what happened last week with Dallas Cowboys kicker who missed those extra points, and they're not the gimme extra points anymore. The pressures of an NFL kicker, big stage. It is Dallas. You played in Dallas. You understand that. And they brought in another kicker. So there's many questions to this. There's many things you can look at. The one that popped in my mind is the pressure of a new guy coming in. But at the same time, what are you thinking as the guy who was the man and having there's a lot of emotions, a lot more pressure I feel is now mounted on the new guy and the guy who's sitting there feeling like, all right, I'm worthy, or am I worthy? What does a kicker go through in that situation? I'm sure you felt a lot of that in your career as a kicker.
Well, I'd like to tell you that I didn't feel a lot because I didn't go through missing the extra points or the field goals on that point. But back in the days, the extra points were a lot closer to. They're considered field goals. They really are. Poor kid, I feel bad for him. After I saw the first miss, I said he'll straighten out. Then second miss, then the
Mm,
third, and then literally you knew that he was just placing the ball. He wasn't really believing in what his form was. He was just trying to say, "Man, I got to make one." But honestly, everybody has those days. We all have those days. Some of us have them at practice. I mean, when I was with the Cowboys, I had it. I was 0 for 5, and Tom Landry was behind me, and Tom Landry goes, "Man, you're 0 for 5 here at practice. Are you okay?" He goes, "What?" And he goes, "Do you make me nervous?" I say, "Yeah." And then him funny, you know how Tom
Hmm.
Landry was never said a word. He goes, "Well, I gotta tell you, I gotta be at the game, so figure it out. That way you don't get nervous when you go kick." So those are the things that happens, in the NFL. Poor kicker. I feel for him. I hope he gets the opportunity. Because let me tell you, bringing in a new kicker, I would
Hmm.
hate to be the new kicker. Okay, so let's say I did get freaking crazy emails and DMs saying, "Hey, they need a kicker. Do you still got an extra point for you?" This and I could, dude. I couldn't kick a ball if I tried to anyway. But you have to realize that if you're as a kicker, you go in there, you never work with the holder or that snapper, no matter how good they are. Mentally, as a kicker, you have to understand how you want the ball tilted, how you want it to be set, and all that stuff. It's different. You can't come in and step in and go into the playoff for the Dallas Cowboys to possibly jump them to the next level or not. You can't. I would stick with the same kicker that's been working with the snapper and holder and work those things. And at practice, do a lot of reps, do a lot of live kicks with the team, because then after that, he'll get all those jitters out of there. Of course, right before he goes in there, he's gonna have a couple little ones, but once he kicks that one, the first one, it's like when you get injured and you get back and you get hit where you were injured and everything's fine, then nothing ever happened again. But yes, and that's the reason I can tell you that I tell the NFL and I talk to them is you expect the kicker to come in and win games and play for a team when somebody just got cut or somebody got hurt, when you've never had that kid work with the holder and snapper. You're just putting them in there with somebody that they've never done. And most of the people don't understand that they're not kickers. They're like, well, he should just go out there. They're holding the ball, kick the ball. No, it's not. It's not just that. It's like telling the quarterback and the receiver connect when the quarterback just came in from the streets, and you expect them to connect on a perfect pass and a perfect throw and everything. You can't. There's no such thing. Same thing. That's the holder and snapper.
All right. So was this a panic move by Dallas? Because you told me that you were 0 for 5 in practice. I mean, and it wasn't a real game, and you got a little that moment with Tom Landry, and then, but it was this. Did Dallas overreact? I mean, this guy has kicked in the NFL who missed his 3 extra points, and it was rough.
I think
But
he's
we've
missed
seen.
5 extra points. I think he's missed five. He missed the 1 week before, and then he missed four in a row.
All right. So we've seen this happen in the NFL where it just kind of crushes a kicker and just it just happens. It breaks their soul or something. And it is Dallas. I guess the stakes are higher when it comes to that. But I thought there was a little bit of overreaction. I mean, am I going to
I
trust a
think
young?
so. I think
Yeah,
I would trust a young. I would definitely. I would trust a young guy. Again, the game hasn't been played. We haven't seen. The kid hasn't been cut.
that's
You
true.
really haven't seen. You got to see what they do. Now, Tom Landry, and I would tell you about Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson used to bring a player in. Shoot, he would bring in a running back, sit him next to the running back that just fumbled the week before. And realistically, here's the story that I heard right next to him. He would say, "Hey, do you know that this guy might take your job? He might take your house. And to be nice to you, he might even take your wife with you. Do you understand? He's going to take everything you have. So, whatever it takes to motivate a player, those coaches will bring them in. They never start them. They
No,
put the
they don't.
regular running back. They do the same thing. That's just something light up a fire on it. And that's what happens in the NFL. Jimmy Johnson was like that. Buddy Ryan. You got to remember who I play for. I play for
Hmm.
Buddy Ryan and Jimmy Johnson. Great coaches, but boy, they used every idea to try to get those players to play. And Jimmy Johnson did a great job by winning those Super Bowls with the Cowboys down there.
Do coaches ride their kickers? I mean, do they? How often do they talk to you? I mean, other than what Tom,
Back
just Tom's.
back in the
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
yeah, back in the days, they didn't even want to talk to the kickers. They were scared that you were going to scare them from missing field goals. I mean, now these days they'll go up to the kicker and go like this, "Hey, dude, why did you miss it?" And
Hmm.
they're like, "Oh, this and that." Back in the days, I mean, I missed a field goal, and he goes, "So why did you miss it?" And I mean, I was 24 out of 26. I only had like two misses with the Eagles. He goes, "Why did you miss it?" I said, one of the like assistant coach. I go, "Oh, that guy put the ball upside down," and he goes, "Okay, I'm gonna talk to him." And then I walked away. It's like, this guy really does. Then later on, like 3 days later in practice, he goes, "Is there an upside down on the ball or not? Because they keep telling me you're messing with me." I said, "There is not an upside down on the ball, coach. You just ask questions. I'm gonna give you an answer, something you don't know, or either you do know." So those are the things that sometimes you can joke around. There was sometimes Buddy Ryan with, last second field goal with the Giants. And he calls me out to the side, calls a timeout. They call a timeout. He goes, "Hey, so after you win this game, it's a last second field goal. After you win this game, are you buying dinner or am I buying dinner?" And the TVs were saying, "Man, he's probably telling them, dude, you missed this. You're going to get fired. You're not going to get paid." But no, we're talking about dinner after the game, after I win the game. And
That's
those
great.
coaches do that too to relax you, or just say, "Hey, this is this is just an ordinary kick. It's no biggie. We went in, we kicked it, we won the game, boom."
That's it.
But
That's
it's
it.
just the people that don't understand.
You're talking Giants, and you mentioned the Eagles, and that's a game you've been in it before, and it's closely rivaled because they're so closely miles wide. I don't know, like, what is it? A 90-minute, maybe 2-hour drive separates them down the turnpike, basically. Big game. Actually, two big games in the NFC. Cowboys and Niners going at it again. Little history there. A new generation of the history, and even the Eagles and Giants. And is it really that big of a deal, even as a kicker, when you're playing the Giants? And it is in Philly. It's going to be pretty cold and different, but give me your experiences when you played the football Giants and that rival, and how much this really is a big deal between these two cities and fan bases too.
Well, there's a big one. We always played them. When we play mostly at the Meadowlands, and that field was crazy there by itself. It's things, some weird things always happened, as they always say that in the end zones. And they did. The games ended up being some weird games. It was Bill Parcell was actually coaching down there. As you can see, who I'm going. As you see my jacket in the back,
There it
back in the
is.
day, the Eagles. So you know who we're going. Uh, in reality, I like to see Dallas or the Eagles down here against one of the other teams over there for the Super Bowl here in Arizona. But yeah, the rivalry is big, especially in Philly. Expect to be cold, expect to be yelling, expect to be everything that comes with it, because those fans are passionate about their football. They will, as you know before, if they make it to the Super Bowl, they will get a second loan on their home, and they will be down here trying to buy tickets and do everything else to go to that game. So yes, real fans are always going to be on top of it, and especially against the Giants.
Hmm.
That's
Now, are
crazy.
you?
That's just like,
How often do you hear stuff on the sidelines that you're always warming up, you're always practicing hitting into the net and things? I You're gonna hear stuff, right? How does
you
that
hear
play
it all
into a
the
kicker?
time.
How does that play into a kicker? Like, because that's, you got so much to think about. You know.
Well, okay, so you got to be smart. If he gets a little smarter, and we were at sometimes we were growing up and being smarter, but I guarantee you right now, and if they don't, kicker, punter, snapper, put some earplugs. You're gonna hear
Ah.
every name, every possible thing. I can tell you the things. I think it was at the Cleveland's Brown when I was kicking at the Browns over when they open up those doors and the wind comes against you. It's actually the only time, if you ever Googled, it's the only time that we were kicking the field goals, the extra point towards the dog pound, and they moved it to the other side just because of the fact that they were throwing snowballs right at you. We couldn't get the play going. We couldn't do things like that. So they moved it to the other side. So yeah, you're gonna hear stuff now. So put some earplugs and go about the game, and you worry about what you got to do, because Philly's going to talk a lot. They're going to tell them every possible thing on the
Mm.
silence. You could hear them right there if you don't. So prepare yourself. You already know that 3 hours of nice football. As a kicker, stand up, warm up, and watch a really, really good game there.
All right, so we got Dallas and San Fran. This is, again, NFL is loving this. I mean, they got two great rival games in the NFC, which is great TV and just ratings and everything else. The AFC's got four, I guess, the elite quarterbacks. So at least that's what they were looking forward to, and they got it. Final four, with Trevor Lawrence now emerging, and you have Burrow, who's definitely emerged, and Mahomes, and my mind's slipping here, Josh Allen, and that's fantastic. So they really hit big, I thought. The NFL, Tom Brady would have been good too, because if they happen to beat that, so they were in a great spot on Monday night. I'm sitting there going, doesn't matter who wins this game. The NFL's got a great weekend coming of star power, everything. It's loaded. So looking from that perspective itself, what is the talk about that? Like around the NFL, headquarters, how do they handle that? What do they go through? Because it's always a fan that's wondering if it's planned that way, it's
It's
calculated
not
that
planned.
way.
There's too many bonuses and too many things for any game to be planned out in any which way. I mean, you hear about big contracts of players and, $10 million or $20 million a year. In reality, if it's a $20 million a year type of thing, you got about 10 of the bonuses. If you don't hit those bonuses, you ain't getting the 20 million. You're gonna get 10 only. So you're
Mm,
as a player, you're hitting that. There's no plans. There's no way of, oh, conspiracy is gonna happen. This is gonna win. No, just things happen to happen. I mean, look at the past couple of years where the Super Bowl's been, and it's never happened before. But it's just happened to be, Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay, the Super Bowl won the game. The Rams won their game, and they figured that Cardinals would be. But if it's conspiracy, why not? Why not have it here? But it
mm-hmm,
wasn't. We didn't have a good team. We didn't. We had
mm-hmm.
a great team, individuals, but as a team together, collectively, no, we were not very good here in Arizona. But again, look at the matches. Okay, I really like Dallas, but I mean, I am rooting for Dallas, but in another way, I root a little bit for the 49ers for the fact that Brock Purdy is from,
Mm-hmm.
went to school with my son at Perry High School here in Arizona. So I really look for that kid. That kid's amazing what he's done with the size that he has. But we always known that he's always was going to be a great football, but I always said he was going to be a great football coach because his mind is amazing, how he runs the
Mm-hmm.
systems, how he does certain things. And as an athlete, he's a great quarterback. So look at that match. That's going to be good. Let's say for some reason or another, Dallas wins that and Philly wins that. Look at that match coming up.
It
That's
is
crazy right
everything.
there.
All the storylines from everything comes out. But the Brock Purdy story is awesome, and you had a front row seat at his very young age to watch all that. When you see it, when you saw this happening this year and the way he's handled it, like as if he's been a veteran. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, and somebody asked me, "Go, who's the rookie of the year?" I said, "I'll give it to that kid right now." I mean, you just don't take over a machine like that, and he doesn't even wreck it. He elevated it. Like it was just he was so prepared for these moments, and you must have seen that in high school. And what goes on between that point, college to where this guy can, like, this coaches like to get him to that point. I mean, a lot of credit goes to the people around him, but you had to see that in high school. You had to see that
Well,
maturity level.
yeah, you see that in high school, and you see that through his college years. You see that through everywhere, and you see him now. It's all about the man, the person he is, based on his parents, based on what it is. The game is not bigger than him. Nobody is. He's an average quarterback in a great team, and he makes the team even better because he's not trying to do it himself. He's trying to use the weapons that he has. And using the weapons, look around the weapons that he has. Come on, with everything from runners to receivers to even his feet just running because he wants to in certain situations. Even the way he throws, he's throwing passes like crazy from different areas. If you saw him at the beginning of this last game, he had the jitters. That just tells you he's human. Some people's
Mm-hmm.
like, he's not human. He's winning games. He's doing. No, you saw the little jitters, overthrown pass, or is it overthrown pass or undercut the route from a receiver? You never know,
Mm-hmm.
right? But he doesn't care. It doesn't flinch him of anything. He goes about his day. Like he always says, what I just did on that pass or on that, 4th and 1 or whatever it is, I can't bring it back anymore. I continue to the next play and go on and go on. And that's his mentality. And that's how I always say that if it comes to a situation that he has to make a decision and the coach is not making it for somehow, he will make the right decision. Not about him, it's about the team. That's what Brock brings to that team.
Yeah, it's remarkable. You wait and wait. You don't wait for bad things to happen, but it's almost like, all right, when's this going to happen? Like, all right, when a playoff pressure? All right, it's going to happen. And it was a tight game against Seattle. It was, good first half of football, and then the Niners did what we were expecting and blew them out. But Brock, he had a lot to do with that. Um, but I saw what I noticed about him as a quarterback. There were some wide open receivers, and he makes the throw, and that's what you should do. Make the connection. But he made tough throws. He can make all the throws. So a lot of college quarterbacks don't. That window of completing a pass is like a few inches, right?
Mhm.
The wide open ones. but he does it. And his size, like he says, like we talk about Kyler Murray's size and smaller quarterbacks. We got a quarterback coming out of Georgia named Bennett who just won a national title, and they almost look identical in the way their style of play. By the way, so I'm assuming Brock play on the field in the NFL has helped this guy even more, even though he's just won a national title, Bennett. Because of the style and then just resemblance. I don't know, if you can see the difference. And they wear the same number. I don't know. It's just too kind of creepy, but a cool way to see all this
They might
develop.
even be the same age. They might even be the same age. If you really look at it, I went to go see Bennett. I went to the national championship game. I saw him there. I was in the sidelines watching the whole thing. The way he runs, the way he maneuvers the team, the way he just walks. He knows you can tell he's an NFL player. You can tell he's already mature enough. You can tell. Till I found out what his age was, I was like, oh yeah, he walks like that age. He does. He's a mature young man, and he's ready to go in the NFL. Brock, it's not so much just Brock. You got to remember it's the 49ers, the way their system is, what caters to that quarterback. Not just, let's talk Tom Brady. Tom Brady could not just go to any team. He's got to go to the right team for what kind of quarterback he is, right? Brock is the right perfect quarterback for what do we ask for the 49ers? Don't lose the game. Just manage it. Just do what you need to do as a quarterback. Don't put it on your own hands. There's some teams that, man, that quarterback, like here, Kyler. We ask Kyler to do everything for us. When he has certain couple receivers, couple plays, certain ways, the way it should be going, Kyler should have an easy way of going here, and hopefully he will run when he needs to run, not when he's running out of his, trying to protect himself. That's what's going to be. That's what this leads me a little bit into the Cardinals. It's going to be based on what coach you bring in for Kyler. He's going to be great, but what kind of system, what kind of coach are you bringing here? That's what that's what makes it such a difference.
Just look at it. Kyler's injury, right? So this time, there's a time to reboot a little bit here. There's time to rebuild a little, or whatever. Just kind of turn it over a little bit now. 2 years from now, where he'll have a full season. I don't know if he makes it back until the end of the year, or we'll see how this all plays out, where he is on his rehab, and is it worth it as the season plays out? Because there's a lot of money spent, you invested, but I would hope he'd try to get a couple of games in and get a little bit feel for the game again. And but the Cardinals have an opportunity. This is where I'm trying to get to, is you got 2 drafts before his first full season coming, right? There's this great window. And that's the positive part of it. I know it's a downer that he's out, but there's a positive, because in the way of, all right, you got time. You got the new guy coming in, GM. You're going to have a new coach, right? Probably a lot of roster moves, right? This is the opportunity. How would you handle that? How would Luis Zendejas look at these next 2 years, or that timeline when Kyler gets that full season in?
Number one is I wouldn't push Kyler to come back as fast as everybody wants them to come back. I would go after one of those quarterbacks from the 49ers. They're loaded there. That 3 quarterbacks are freaking crazy. You can, more likely the first one they want him to go is Jimmy G, right? Well, go get him. Go get him. Go get him. Bring him here. He's a great quarterback, and he will do good here. Or bring in the other kid. It doesn't matter. It's there's actually a lot of quarterbacks out there. But give Kyler the opportunity to get well, especially. We count on him for his legs. We count on him for everything else he does there. And then bring in the right quarterback for him. I mean, the offensive line, you need to fix the offensive line. I think ever since, as you know, I worked for the Cardinals for 19 years as senior director of community relations. They did everything for the Bidwells, did everything for me great. They took care of me for 19 years. I decided to step down and follow my dream of continuing my nonprofit foundation that I have, which I always tell myself, when am I going to do what I want to do? When am I going to do? So that was a time for me. But, going back to the Bidwells have done everything possible to bring a winning team here to Arizona. It hasn't happened. We went to one. We lost to those crazy Pittsburgh Steelers down there that, we have the game 1. Look at how many things had to go right for them to beat us, and it did. And then we played a little bit too much of prevent defense, and here we are. But we're trying to get back to the Super Bowl. And let me tell you, Michael Bidwell loves a winning team, and he will do everything to try to get that team there. Things haven't worked out. But he's keeps at it again, keeps going.
Luis, there's a question all week I've been hearing, and I haven't responded to it in any way. I just think about it, is how much control does Michael want or say in his this is his baby, man, and he is. I love the fact that he wants to win and he's trying. I love those owners. I love the George Steinbrenner owners. The guys that are looking to get out there and win at all costs, and especially where the Cardinals have been. Prior to the move to Glendale and how he took over, and so I see that again. In your perspective, being around him, can we clear this up a little bit, because there's so much speculation and the power, the control of the new GM, and everybody jumping on this narrative, and I backed away from it, and I wasn't even too sure if I was going to even ask you this, but it just seemed like it's there.
Yeah, no, you're good. No, you're good. Michael Bidwell he wants to win. He wants to win bad. He loves a winning team. He loves to be around. He loves to walk with the prep like, man, our team's winning. We're good with this and that. Like I was telling you, ever since he took over from his dad, and he always believes in. We were always called the poor team, the ones that didn't want to spend no money. Look how much money they spend and how many things they buy and players they go after. He wants to win. Just sometimes it just doesn't work out certain things. Control of it. I own a couple of restaurants. When I own a couple of restaurants, I control the restaurants, but I hire the right people to run. I hire the manager to be the right person and the cook to be the right person. So I wouldn't get in there to tell them how to cook. I hired them for a reason. Michael's the same way. Michael will get the right quarterback for the right the right coach for the right quarterback for the right team. For specifically, more important to Michael is he wants players that are good citizens, good people in the community. He always preached that. Number one on the field, number one in the community. Let me tell you, 19 years that I was there, we were number one in the community, and they continued to be there while they do that in the community. Now, moving forward towards the team, they have to continue to do that in the playing field. Unfortunately, let me tell you, like it always is, that offensive line needs to be built, and then after that, continue with the players that they had. They had some great players. I mean, they had to let go of certain things, and that's the NFL. But Michael wants to win at all, no matter what. He doesn't want to control that. You think he by controlling he's going to win? No, he wants to get the right people. I hire you for this reason. I want you to do this. This is what we need to do. And like I said, God, what better for him this past year would have been to be at the Super Bowl here with the Cardinals.
Jerry Jones, Michael Bidwell. You experienced.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying. I started feeling like people were pointing like, all right, this is sort of like a Jerry control thing this week. In the way, I guess the quote in the press conference with his new GM is about, we are going to do this, and people are like, well, what is he really saying there? We like, isn't he just going to get? Okay.
He owns the team. Is a we. Mike will include us in community relations. He include Armando, the guy that cleans the offices, as we. We as a team means everybody. He doesn't go just the coaches, the general manager, the people at the stadium, the ushers, the people that collect tickets, the people that sell the hot dogs, hamburgers. It's a we team at the stadium, everywhere. You'll always hear that. He'll never say, the manager will do that or me or all that. He's all about we, and like they said, we continue to manage the players to do what it needs to do. But for anybody to say Jerry Jones or Michael Bidwell the same, no. I've been when Jerry Jones took over when they first bought the team, that I was under Tom Landry and transferred over to Jimmy Johnson. And let me tell you, I love the passion that Jerry Jones has. I love that. As what he does on the field and all that, Michael doesn't do that. Michael is a great, little stronger than his father. His father was always, pretty calm, pretty nice, great stories and everything else. But Michael wants to win. His dad wanted to win, but I think Michael just has that light on his fire. We went to a Super Bowl. We lost. If I was him, like I was continuing to work with the Cardinals so I could go to the Super Bowl, but we never went back again. But him, imagine him, how many years did that have? And he wants to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I do remember that night. Comparison. Were you in the stadium or were you in the press box when they beat the Eagles in that NFC Championship game? I was on the sidelines working, and I will say the tears and fans, because I was there in the beginning in '88, and I watched the hard times and so forth. But it was, and I was literally with Terry Bradshaw on the sidelines. I was with Fox working. And it was when the Eagles made a run and made a comeback, remember? And it was like, oh, crap, we're losing this thing. And Terry turns to me and goes, man, they can't blow this. Look at these fans. Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
then when the confetti whatever hit and everything dropped and the cheers and it all came full circle. Why it was so worth it. And when you wait for this moment, it was Arizona's Super Bowl moment in that NFC Championship game. And when
I
Larry,
was in the fans. I was a fan. Yeah, I was a fan. I was in the stands. We did that, but we as a fans, we had some heartbreaks before. That's why it was the tears, the confettis, all that. I mean, if you can remember, with Coach Green when we lost to the Bears. Yeah, I mean, so many things had to go wrong, and yet still we lost so many things like that. I mean, here with the Eagles was amazing. It was just one of those things that we've been. It's like we've been waiting for this to happen, and it happened. And that's why you see all that was happening. You were on the field, you experienced, and seeing it from the outside, but yet seeing all these people and understanding all these people that go to the games week after week after week. And always, either we were losing or we just didn't finish it or we didn't complete it. To be able to jump and go there to the next level, we hadn't been there. So it's new to us.
Yeah, the media is glorifying from the past, which is okay because we need to talk about history, and that's how you talk about your team history and so forth. But people are dropping the F word, like the effing Arizona Cardinals in the Super Bowl. Like that was kind of like the thing, and you're like, yeah, it's there. All right, so
But we
how
flew
about
under the radar, if you know that.
Oh, of
We
course,
flew under the radar. We flew under the radar. That's how you want to do. You fly under the radar, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, how did the Cardinals make it to the Super Bowl? Right? They didn't say that till after we won. They beat the Eagles. Right. They're like, wait, they're in the Super Bowl. That's what it was. You were saying something about the.
Oh, I was going to go with Sun Devils. Yeah, I was going to drop in there, and then we're going to talk about the Super Bowl week and what you're doing. Yeah. What you're doing great at is I will drop. I'll end it with the Cardinals. Devils. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say here at the Sun Devils, we have a new coach coming in, and he's getting a lot of the high school kids, coaches from here. Hopefully, they start recruiting a lot more. There's a lot of great athletes here in Arizona, and we've been letting them go. Look at Brock Purdy. We let him go. We didn't stay at Arizona State, and he was a great quarterback. He was just one of those things. And I think with this new coach here, definitely it's gonna. We start at the bottom. All we can do is go up, and I think they're starting to recruit. He has a good crew coming up right now. He's got a really good.
What about the transfer portal? They're number one at least.
Transfer portal is amazing. God, I wish the transfer portal was there. I wish the transfer portal was there when I was going to college. I wished all these paying players when I was going to college. I can guarantee you, I would have had a chicken and wings and pizza deal. I guarantee you for a fact that I know Long Wongs or Native New York would have gave me a contract right there for paying some money. But
you would have been on Mill Avenue, Long Wongs. I know where you would have been.
Well, I'm already on Mill Avenue, Long Wongs, but now I got to pay for them. I would have probably had one of those cards for life that I can have chicken wings, But yeah, in reality, look at what the portal does. The portal just gives you the opportunity for you to get on there. My son was at Arizona State. He went on the portal not because he wanted to, it's because the coaches that were there were backing away from his scholarship because of the fact that he wasn't one of their recruits. Coach Graham recruited him there. Coach Graham was an amazing coach, and he recruited him there. So the other guys were like, oh, but he's good. But he kept kicking, he kept starting, and everything else. But that's why he was in the portal. But they would call him back and say, okay, one more year. And then after a while, my son got out. So this year, he'll come out and try out for the NFL. But again, going back to those things, the portal gives you the opportunity that if I'm a backup and you got a freshman starting and he's let me go somewhere else because I can be good somewhere else. Let me find the perfect marriage to that team in college or whatever I need to do. It's great. It's a way of getting out of here. If you don't want to continue to be a backup the whole time when you can be starting somewhere else and showcase or build who you are going to be. You got to pay players. You got to pay players. You got to pay them. I mean, honestly,
I'm excited. They have 8 home games, 4 road games, Arizona State. So the schedule favors them if they can just take over Sun Devil Stadium and own it. Home field advantage. They got USC. Like they just really have a great schedule. And if they can get out of the gate, I think they're 5 out of the first games. 4 of them are at home. Like 5 out of the first 7 or something are home. Like they really are.
Yeah,
They
but
got
you
a
got to
great.
remember, they got rebuilt. A lot of their players left because of the old regime coaches. A lot of
Mhm,
players left. A lot of them now. This coach is going to get them. It's going to get the players that going to work for their position. It's not going to be. There's not going to be promised you're going to start when you come in here. You come in here to
right.
fight and earn it, and that makes better players. If my son
Mhm,
comes in, would come in here, and they say you're going to earn it, it's either gonna, if he doesn't start, it's going to make him even better to work harder. So you're going to get players throughout. Look at U of A. I mean, I hate to give U of A some positive,
mhm.
being Arizona State, but U of A is putting things together the right way. Little by little, they get the players, they get certain things that they do. So that's how you're gonna have to build the whole thing
Mhm.
is start recruiting in the state, is start winning some games or play games close up or certain things that you have to do. Um, you have to do that. So like I
Mhm.
said, with that, it's gonna be a interesting season. We'll be there. We'll always back up to Sun Devils. Whenever we play any game, we play some great games this year.
All right. We're gonna move off the ASU for one, but I'm gonna end it with this. Bobby Hurley used that transfer portal, and they're having a great college basketball season so far. They got a big game going on right now. Hopefully, they're beating UCLA and getting to the next level in the conference itself. But it can maybe that gives it the signal that hey, this can flip in 1 year into a very high positive season, and hopefully Sun Devil football can piggyback what Bobby's doing right now with the men's basketball program itself. So,
Yeah, you got to
all
be
right,
active. Yeah, you got to be active. You got to definitely be active. If you're not active, you're gonna sit. It's like not being active on free agency with the NFL. You got to be active. You got to
right.
look for that player because you're gonna lose some players and you're gonna gain some players. Go after those players you want. Don't be shy.
All right. So Tuesday, February 7th. All right. Super Bowl week, Cancer Survivor Night. All right, and this is what I'm reading. For what I'm assuming you wrote this, so I'm just gonna read it. Like, do you know a
The
cancer
Cancer Survivor
survivor?
Night. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, someone who is courageously battling this cruel disease. Nominate them for a chance to join you, right, and other amazing athletes and celebrities for an inspiring evening as we celebrate faith, hope, and family. Each winning nominee and their guests will be treated to a memorable evening as we laugh together and share stories and love and honor their courageous battle. Right. This is an event Tuesday,
Mhm.
February 7th in Scottsdale. You want to take it from there and you know what
Yeah, this is
restaurant it
this is
is
the
and all.
reason. This is the reason I stepped down from the Cardinals to do what I love to do, my passion towards my foundation. My foundation has to do with a lot of kickers, punters, snappers, get them scholarships, get them, train them the proper way, give them the opportunity to go out there. Don't never use the excuse you don't have cleats, you don't have football, or you don't have a place to kick. That's part of that. My other one is I
Mm,
work a lot with the cancer survivor patients, all cancer survivors, and domestic
mm,
violence. Right now about this cancer survivor event, this will be my third one this year. So this third one I'm doing here Super Bowl week, the 7th. I tagged in with Kasai restaurant, Japanese
mm,
restaurant in Scottsdale. It's a tapinyako is where they come with some of the players and some of the cooks. They cook in front of my cancer survivor patients. So it's a time that I
mm,
give them out there, have their food, eat, drink, and be able to talk about sit them next to the person that's gone through cancer for years and they're cancer free to a person that just found out that they got cancer and be able to communicate and talk about this, losing hair, losing a lot of stuff here and there, the pains and that, and about the chemo and all that stuff. So after they talk
mm,
to somebody and they see how beautiful this person is and how beautiful they talk about this really deadly disease and all that stuff, they feel a little bit more comfortable because they're talking about to someone that's been through it and is cancer free, gives them hope. That's the reason I love about this is
mm.
getting all these people together to talk about the same common goal, the same thing. And honestly, some people say, well, I thought it would be like 3 hours of don't just forget about the cancer that you have and all that stuff. No, it's about 3 hours about having you will see tears and everything as they're eating and drinking or whatever, but it's because they're understanding what this disease is doing. They're understanding
Mm,
it. Possibly they were scared of what it was going to do. They were frightened. They really didn't want to tell people. A guy wouldn't want to go down there. I said, oh my God, I have colon cancer.
mm,
But the way I do trick some of the guys. I do trick them. I say, hey, I need help. I need volunteers because I find out that they have colon cancer, but they don't want to go through that. So I bring them in as not a cancer survivor. I bring them in as my volunteers. So they help me set some people in. All of a sudden, God, I don't know why I set them next to somebody that went through colon cancer. And all of a sudden they start talking about colon cancer. And all of a sudden this person that was so shy, this guy that came in, all of a sudden he's talking about it. And guess what? He's like, you know what, Luis? You did this on purpose. You set me next to somebody that would open up my eyes. There would be all this is what it's about. It really is. It's about opening their eyes and literally tell them, hey, you don't have to hide and be worried your whole time and at your house, not come out of the house. It's embrace this thing, go through what you need to do, and say a lot of prayers, and you'll have somebody. Now you guarantee you got a phone number for the person you stand next to that you can call him anytime and say, hey, when you were going through that, did you have this or did you have that? And that's the reason I continue to do this, and I will continue to this because this is my passion. This is definitely what I love to do.
Do you need volunteers that night, or you're okay? I'm sure you're doing great with it, but I'm hearing myself wanting to volunteer or just opening a door. Or
you're
something.
welcome. You're welcome to come. You're welcome. Like I say, you're welcome to come in. It's I don't. It's crazy. I don't allow cameras. I don't allow any interviews. I don't stick a microphone on them. I keep everything internal. I do my own. We're social media ourselves, our own. Our own social media, so I control everything that goes. If somebody doesn't want it, we don't do it. It's all about them. This evenings, it's always about them, and they love to do that. But some of them do say, yes, I love you for you to tell my story to it, because I want some people that they weren't here to hear the story, that it's okay, that we will continue fighting for the stuff. And that's why I do it. But I do control that myself. But you're welcome to come in.
I love this stuff. I just love being a part of it, and it actually it fulfills me in many ways too as a human being. Just it humbles me. It elevates me in many ways. And you see life, you appreciate life, and it puts things in perspective. The whole thing. And I wonder about these shoes though. These.
Yep.
Respect, loyal. Can you talk about? You're pretty cool, actually.
I had them designed. Yeah, I had them designed. Like I told you, I have my own brand of cleats for the kickers too. I have cleats and all that stuff, and this is the coach's shoes, tennis shoes. I designed them with the butterfly, and the butterflies and all the colors, for the fact that it's all colors for all cancer, not just breast cancer, but all colon cancer, brain cancer, everything, and designed those shoes more for so inspire people. And I have had so many people call up to try to buy those shoes and do certain things. I do have some of my players, they'll sign those shoes, like Jason Myers, for the Seahawks, and Matt Prater comes and kicks at the house, and things like that. That we will end up giving some of those to my survivors, some of the people that are there, some of the inspire them a little bit, put them in a frame. So that's what those are. Those are meant. They're painted. They're painted out of a designer guy that does them out of Mexico for me. So I'll continue. As some of the LinkedIn people said, please continue to make those, and we will definitely. So I will continue to make those for them.
So people wanting to donate, get involved, stay involved, not just for one night. Obviously, this is something that you're going to be community-wise engaged, and maybe participate and volunteer for you throughout the year. I mean, how do they, besides looking you up, a website, things like that, to help and participate?
Yeah, here's what it is. So yeah, anybody wants to donate to that, you're very welcome to that. I continue to do this. I'm going to continue to do this 3 or 4 times a year. This event it's great for what it does for cancer survivors, and I'll continue to do that. So they can look me up under Instagram under Luis Zendejas, always with the blue check mark, or LinkedIn and all that stuff. More important, like I said, if they want to donate, great. If they don't, they want to volunteer, great. Right now, the most important, let's talk about this event for the 7th. If anybody has somebody that's going through that and is a cancer survivor, I will never say no to them. I will bring them in, DM me through LinkedIn or Instagram. And if they're in Arizona, give me their first name only and their email address, and they'll receive a personal invitation from me to this event.
Oh, wonderful. Hey, Luis, I held you well past what I promised you, but everything was it was entertaining. It was informative, right? It was everything that we needed to know. And you're a blast, and you're highly knowledgeable. For anybody who thinks kickers don't know enough about football, this, this guy obviously knows more than it's a stereotype. But I knew this. I met you a few times on the field, just shaking your hand because I've always respected you and knowing what you were doing, and I always loved the energy that you brought. So and you're always smiling, like you just got a good spirit about you, and I think it feeds well into the community where you are reaching out. It's an outreach program that hey, if you're with the Cardinals in Bidwell for that long, obviously you're doing tremendous work. And I thank you so much for doing what you've done for Arizona and for many people outside of the state that probably has been participating too. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate it. And thank you for having me at your show here.
thank you. All right, Luis
Good night.
Zendejas. Good night, babe. Oh, wait. I got to do this. I got to get my, there you go. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Luis
Thank you.
Zendejas.
Bye-bye.
Good night. All righty. I appreciate his time, and it was jamming. Wow. I just love everything. He just definitely knows how to communicate, tell stories, and that was a lot of fun. Hey, share this. I want you to share this show, especially everything that we went through in the last few minutes talking about his big event on February 7th. Tuesday night, a Kasai Japanese restaurant in Scottsdale itself. Send him a message, okay, or nominate a cancer survivor, or reach out to somebody and try to get them connected through this whole process too. Luis, former NFL kicker, former ASU kicker itself, but doing bigger and better things outside of the NFL and outside of a sport, but using that platform, which is really tremendous stuff, right? And if you're interested in joining or sponsor a powerful event, please send a direct message to Luis, either in LinkedIn is one place for sure, or just look him up, research him itself. But there's many places to find him. He's all over the map. And again, Luis Zendejas, the former kicker for the Eagles and Cowboys in particular, but Arizona State, the Devils itself. And hopefully we'll catch up with him pretty soon down the road itself. All right. We're going to shift gears, right? Mancini will pop in here in a little bit. We're going to talk NFL now, okay? And I still want to have more of my 2 cents about the Cardinals and what was going on and with the new GM, with Monty Ossenfort, and where he's coming from and the excitement he's bringing and the new energy and the new input that this team really, really needed. And to attract free agents also, and bring in new blood, new young blood, right? And this is a very exciting time when you have change. And sometimes change is not good, but this was something in the Cardinals situation they needed to change. And, we'll get into that in a second, but I want to go back into the NFL playoff time. I'm going to pop this on the screen for you. This is the NFL. Last time each team remaining in the playoff reached the conference championship game. Okay. So on that list, it's the Cowboys, 1996. Okay. Conference championship games. The last time the Cowboys, everybody else are in the 2000. Matter of fact, the Giants 2012 are the second lowest on that list. That's just 10 years ago, which is still not, 10 years is 10 years, but not bad, right? For an organization, conference championship. The Jaguars, hey, they got a chance to go back again with the win. And the last time they did that was 2018 when they lost to the Patriots. The Eagles trying to get back when they won that Super Bowl in 2018. The Bills trying to get back from a year ago or two. The Niners, right? This is their, AFC championship game, right? 2022, the Chiefs and the Bengals. So the Niners were there last year, the Chiefs were there last year, and the Bengals. But the Cowboys, they got the longest drought out of all the remaining teams in the playoffs to get to the AFC championship game. So keep an eye on that, see how it plays out. Also coming around here is the Final Four. We talked about it at the top of the show, and the NFL has truly is jumping they're just jumping out of their seats. I mean, Final Four AFC quarterbacks, this is what they dreamt of, dreaming of. is, they had Mahomes. He's only 27 years old, and he's done so much, folks. Mahomes has done so much, but he's led this charge of the new generation quarterback. Okay. And if you go back in time in my show, and what I've talked about is, the real future of the NFL quarterback, and I used to say this all the time, and I still kind of do, is that avatar quarterback, like the movie, like, tall, lanky, athletic, freak of nature kind of quarterbacks, right? And they're coming, and then they arrive, and they're arriving more and more. And, we knew this was going to happen, right? And I kept saying that if you're going to draft a quarterback, these are the type of quarterbacks. And the last one coming out was Trevor Lawrence, right? And you saw Joe Burrow, right? And Josh Allen and Mahomes was kind of like opening up those doors. But everybody thought Mahomes was this true RPO guy. But no, the deal is, folks, if you're looking for a future quarterback, just look at the AFC Final Four quarterbacks. That's the future. It's not just, it's the now. It's the now, and that's what you got to jump into. And who's out there that can match this? That's the hardest part. Who are those quarterbacks that are in college right now or 2 years from now? Who are you keeping your eye on that are going to elevate their game? Okay, Trevor Lawrence, he emerged. You just don't come back from 27-0. He's there now. He's part of that group. Okay, the AFC has a Kenny Pickett, and they got a Justin Herbert. They're loaded, right? That's the now, and that was the future developing in our eyes for the last couple of years. Now they are taking over the NFL. These quarterbacks, these type of quarterbacks, okay, they're taking over. But then you get a guy like Brock Purdy from the 49ers, right? The 49ers, and who's not anything like that. He's different. Right, he's a managing of a game. Just makes the throw, doesn't make mistakes. Right, everything about that he needed to do to keep that job in San Fran. But not only that, win and keep winning. He hasn't lost. Pretty incredible stuff, right? For Brock Purdy. But getting back to that AFC Final Four quarterback, that's where. If you're looking, I highly recommend. It's hard to find it, and you got to be lucky. You got to be in the right spot, and you got to have bad seasons to draft that high to get a chance to get one of those type of quarterbacks if they're there, if they're, in the draft. Stay tuned. All right. Coming up more here. We got more AFC and NFC talk. How about NFL coaches? We've been seeing this floating around. Out of all the coaches in the playoffs remaining, only one of them is a defensive defensive coach, and that is up in Buffalo. Their head coach up there. Everybody else, they're all offensive minded, right? And it's gone well for all of them. Okay, it's gone well from all of them itself, but Buffalo itself, their defense is going to have to step it up, and some injuries, and there's some holes there. The Von Miller part of it really hurts their defense. Have hurt them, and who's going to get to that quarterback in a big moment late in the game, right? That's the Von Miller moment. Who is that going to be for Buffalo? But looking at that image right there on the screen, it's only Sean McDermott. That's all it is. Who's the defensive guy? So it's still offensive head coaches around the NFL still emerging and still the ones leading their teams. So we'll see if that changes down the road around the NFL. But right now, that's the trend. That is the trend. Here's another one for you. Playoff wins, starting from the bottom. Jalen Hurts yet to win a playoff game, and he's still very young. Okay, but Daniel Jones, welcome to the party. Right, Brock Purdy, welcome to the party of winning a playoff game. Right, Trevor Lawrence, welcome to the party. Right, I think Trevor will have a few more, and maybe all of them will have a few more, maybe this weekend. But at the top of the list, 8 wins is Mahomes. Then you have Josh Allen, and you have Joe Burrow. Dak Prescott, right? Finally got number 2 last weekend. So there are your 8 quarterbacks left in the NFL playoffs. Which one wins the Super Bowl? Time will tell in a few weeks in Glendale, Arizona. All right, so we get back to this, the similarities between these two quarterbacks. Bennett from Georgia, who just won a national championship, their similarities, style, quarterback style, the intelligence, not as tall and not. Hey, let's figure this out real quick, folks. Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant was the San Francisco 49ers quarterback. And Bennett, if you don't know his story itself, is bringing Mark Mancini as I'm talking about this. Bennett from Georgia, folks, this guy couldn't make it on the team, right? He had to find a way to get an opportunity and prove himself. So both of these guys were kind of being treated irrelevant, and both of them have finishing their season strong with the same kind of style, wearing the same number. It's just kind of ironic. And as I just from the elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now, the AFC quarterbacks, the avatar quarterbacks, and then they get Bennett, who's probably going to draft high, thanks to Brock Purdy, who probably elevated Bennett's status more, besides Bennett's championship, which helped a lot. But when you see Brock Purdy, you got to think Bennett just kind of benefited from all that. Mark, your thoughts on this Purdy guy and also Bennett? Do you think he's got a shot now in the NFL? Because, a trend is a trend.
Well, the show that's sweeping Thursdays, man, the throwdown, you and I, man, we've been doing it for a long time. We'll continue to do it until we get picked up, and I know it's coming. But I will tell you, perseverance, driven, determination, never giving up, the hell with the naysayers, all of the above. Look at you and I sit here and interview big boys. We listen to sports talk across this country, and I can't figure out who these guys interview and how they get paid more than us.
Well,
what the hell is going on, man?
I don't know. Is Brock Purdy, is he the real deal? Or, I think he deserves a Rookie of the Year. You just can't do what he just done. I know it wasn't a full season, but you got to give it to him. And then you have Bennett coming in. Our team's going to look at this seriously now. Hey, this guy has the same kind of makeup.
Yeah, stay away from the Ohio State quarterbacks. They haven't done nothing. Might need a new one in Chicago with the number 1 pick. Maybe you'll go get another quarterback. I'm not a big Trey Lance guy.
Right.
I was never a big.
Mark, you said it right there. You nailed it. So in one way, Chicago, they got a quarterback. Do the Cardinals at number 3 just kind of look like there's going to be a quarterback there? That do they just throw a young body in there and let him learn a little bit for a few years and then Kyler gets his shot back, which he deserves to continue, and it does light a little fire for Kyler.
I will tell you this: we grew up with that. You had to hold a clipboard and learn the system for a couple of years, and you were ready. Maybe a little over a year. These guys are thrown right in. The teams don't want to waste too much time, and if they don't perform in 3 weeks, they're ready to draft another quarterback. We've seen this in a lot of situations. The situation could have been handled a lot better in San Francisco, but now that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get a big cage, he won't be back there next year. Derek Carr was kind of shown the door after he was the leader in Vegas and Oakland and all that, and he'll be making some big money. But I don't understand these Kyler Murrays, these Tuas and all that. And you can blame it on concussions or whatever the hell you want to blame it on. But Geno Smith did one hell of a job in Seattle, considering he came in there and took over, and he paid back 3 organizations that showed him the door.
Mark, Luis Zendejas was on the show, and he's
a great guy, man. What a great show, man. You guys pick it up, man.
He was just awesome, and he's rooting for the Eagles. He was a kicker for the Eagles. He had a little eagle thing behind him in the background, so he's all excited. But he played for the Cowboys too, but he did throw out Garoppolo's name, connecting to the Cardinals. Like, go get the guy. Now, remember this just tie this together a little. Right? This is speculation, fun stuff, because that's what we can do. So the Cardinals hire Monty Ossenfort, who was with the Patriots for a very long time before he kind of became the director of personnel for Tennessee and things like that. Okay. All right. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Garoppolo was part of that Patriot. Does he have any feeling? Like, I don't know. I don't think Luis had any insight and maybe dropped the name for fun and, whatever. I'm not going to expect like that, but it made sense because I mean, and Garoppolo is not. And you go, well, you got Kyler Murray. Well, he was also mentioning that Kyler Murray probably shouldn't even play next year, or don't rush him. Like you got to be sure, before you play him, because of the seriousness of his injury and that style of play he has. He needs his legs. So he's like, go get the guy. Go get Garoppolo. And he threw his name out there.
Yeah, Garoppolo is a good quarterback, but like I've been saying, you've known I've been consistent across the boards with whatever show I'm on.
Right.
And I basically said 2 years ago on the XM Sirius side of things that Jacksonville will get to the Super Bowl before we see Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City back there. And now my damn Jacksonville float's taking on steam. Everybody's on it, but you're going to win in this league with guys like Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett, guys that can see the defense. You'll never win a Super Bowl with Tua in Miami, Kyler in Arizona, the guy Trey Lance in San Francisco, Justin Fields in Chicago, and Zach Wilson in New York. You won't win with these kind of guys. I don't care what anybody says, and I can lay the facts down that these kind of guys are just not mentally prepared to play the game like these other three guys. And now with Stetson Bennett coming into the league, I like him. I love Caleb Williams. These are the kind of guys that can take over and join those other three. But, it's funny how you show a head coach the door in, Arizona, and you stay by a quarterback that should have been playing baseball. But how do you not fire the guy in Los Angeles and Brandon Staley that should have been walking back from Jacksonville after that loss and made the bonehead move all year? He should have been. They fired defensive coordinators. They do the same thing in Tampa, and that's okay. Byron Leftwich, we'll take him as an offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh if you don't
it may
want
happen.
him.
If you don't want, hey,
and the guy in Miami, the only thing that saved him, he should thank all in New York, because he would have been losing 6 in a row if the Jets didn't lay an egg, and Pittsburgh would have been in the playoffs.
I think Pittsburgh was the best team not making the playoffs, to tell you the truth. They were the best team not making the playoffs. I thought they were a very dangerous team. I don't think anybody wanted to play them because they're everything about it. But that's another story. I want to stay on this Cardinal thing, okay? And I want Cardinal fans, and I did some homework, and it just kind of, when you hire somebody as a GM who has a long track record, he went through the whole system. This is Monty Ossenfort for the Cardinals, okay, who just got hired as the new GM. And I'm all right, let's see what this guy's about, right? And hopefully there's a new change, and they draft differently, and they just do things the way I'm hoping they do, and everybody has their own visions and blah, blah, blah. But I said, all right, let me see what he did. If he was the director of player personnel, which means, he's looking at players and the draft picks, right? And free agencies. I went to the draft, okay? 3 years in Tennessee, 220, 221, and 222, okay? Let's start off with the first guy, okay? First guy. This is Isaiah Wilson, all right? Big-time college football player, comes to Tennessee. He's a bust. He's a bust. Done. I mean, he's a bust.
Orlando Pace. He looks like Orlando Pace.
Big like that, but he can't play. He's not playing. Like he's not starting. He barely got any playing time. It's just not working out. But that was a draft pick. Now I'm not saying that Monty had final say on this stuff, but just trying to say, like, player personnel, director of player personnel in Tennessee, right? And this is your first year under that umbrella of that position. Number 2, just going to put this out here, 2021. There's another guy. All right. Caleb Farley. Right. Yeah. Another first pick. Their first round pick. Guy played like he's a defensive back. He's struggling. He got hurt. Right. He just can't get on the field, or he's not playing at a high level. Right. Another miss, another swing and miss. Right. And again, a director of player personnel for the Tennessee Titans. And I'm just saying, folks, it's hopefully this is not all tied into Monty, but he definitely was part of the Tennessee and a lot of say on who they're drafting. Number 1 pick overall, or in their first round pick. All right, let's get out of that one. Let's go to last year's draft pick, the wide receiver. He went wide receiver in the first round for Tennessee, and they needed a wide receiver. Remember AJ Brown? They lost receiver, so they had to go make a move. Guy gets hurt. a guy has got like one reception or something like it hasn't gone well, and maybe this guy can turn it around. But from what I've read is he was even a non-factor when he was playing before he got hurt, meaning he was just not effective.
Right.
So what I'm getting to, Mark, is how much say and how much did Monti Ossenfort have with Tennessee Titans scouting and player personnel of the draft that hasn't gone well, and now he's your GM for the Cardinals, and the draft has been the Cardinals' issue in many ways of, a lot of people critical of it. I have been, a lot of people, not just me, and the philosophy part of it, but bust, a lot of bust, and in the Cardinals over the years. Mark, am I reading into this too much? Because this is real. I mean, the last three first-round picks for Tennessee have all been bust, big time, and that's why Tennessee has never elevated, and gotten to the next level, because they can't just get enough talent on the field. And so I'm like, please don't bring it. This is not going to be part of the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be different, right? This is just like, now he's got more control. He's a GM now, Monti, right? He's got his own vision. But now remember, just because he came from New England, Mark, doesn't mean that was Belichick, right? Like how many Belichick products done anything,
right?
Right?
Well, and you know what? Everybody that's fallen under Belichick, Mike Patricia didn't do nothing in Detroit. You see McDaniels having problems.
Mm-hmm.
When you get out of that nest that you were very comfortable, and then you start reading your own highlights, be careful for what you wish for, because head coaching jobs. But Patricia found his way back to New England.
It didn't go well. It didn't go well.
Right.
As an OC. But let's
I think the problem when you look at what's happening in Arizona is they hitched their wagon, and I use hitch with a capital H. They hitched their wagon to Kyler Murray, and they're in for the long haul. And they probably wish they can, overturn that, because they realize they made a big mistake, and now they're on the hook for it.
Yeah, we'll see who he hires as a head coach.
There's that old saying, whoever blinks first loses. And I think the Cardinals front office blinked on it, and he took it, and now they can't, renege on it. So that's the problem. And whoever you bring in there is going to have to change your culture, because I don't know if this guy is the guy that you can really count on, even if he had the height to get him over the top and oversee the defenses. I don't know if he's the right guy in that locker room with his personality to lead the charges.
Yeah. You're talking about Kyler Murray itself. Well, that's what the new GM has. He's got 2 drafts. He's got 2 off seasons to restock, rebuild, and try to get Kyler's first
quarterback. His quarterback draft is going to be the best since '83.
Well, I mean, that's what they're saying, but hey, I have no problem if the Cardinals want to draft a quarterback at number 3 and nurture him as best they can, and bring in like a Garoppolo, and you know what? It's okay. Competition's good, right? Even Luis Zenzejas was talking about that. It's competition's good, and let it play out. But I'm not going to be as heavy critical of it. I just threw out some stuff that didn't go well in Tennessee with player personnel and drafting and so forth. It just didn't go well. I mean, in that aspect,
it hasn't gone well for Tennessee. Let's lay the cards down where we can. It hasn't really gone well for them ever since Cincinnati came in their backyard last year and punked them. And then Vrabel, and I like Vrabel as a player, as a coach. He's kind of lost this. This team is kind of fallen off the radar. I think they lost 7 in a row. How did Mark save his job?
That goes back to what's on the field, right? And bringing in talent that maybe can replace guys who get hurt, or the guys that you get become star players or better, and the talent level on the roster is elevated. Obviously, the talent level wasn't as good.
Well,
and that is that a reflection of Monti Ossenfort, the Cardinals GM? Because again, director of player personnel, Tennessee Titans for 3 years, and Tennessee is, you know.
Well, look, it falls on Vrabel. No,
he drafted Malik. What's his name? The quarterback.
yeah.
What a bust! Is this? I mean, why waste your pick?
Well, here's the thing, Cornelius. The Tennessee Titans were defending champs. The Jaguars got back-to-back #1 picks, so they were dead last in that division. The Colts were trying to find themselves. They didn't even have a good coach.
It's a weak division. It was a weak division.
That organization threw everybody under the bus.
Weak division.
How about the Houston Texans? So the Titans really had no excuse, whether it was draft picks or not to repeat. After last year, they got, they were the #1 seed. So Vrabel has to take some of that blame. Look what's happening in Tampa Bay. Everybody, no matter what Tom Brady went through in his personal life, 66 attempts through 356 yards on Monday. Is he supposed to catch his own passes? They have no running game. I mean, come on, man. Where was Mike Evans and all these guys?
I agree. I agree. I don't think it's all on Tom Brady.
Put Tom Brady in Vegas or Arizona. You not only are you selling tickets, you're probably putting them on the map.
Yeah, the NFL. I mean, Tom Brady's. We'll see. I don't know if he's going to end up anywhere. A lot of people.
Rumors have it Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets. Whoa, that would be something.
I honestly, any veteran quarterback like Garoppolo or Tom Brady, who loves New York. Derek Carr, or just Aaron Rodgers situation, and then you can nurture maybe Zach Wilson a little bit. That's a good point.
Look what Jones has done with the Giants and Saquon Barkley. They're MVP candidates. They're going to get big money.
Free agents, yeah, they're free agents. But I like Danny Dimes.
Somebody told me Tannehill is better than Jones. I said, I don't know what you're smoking.
No way.
Ryan Tannehill is not better than Jones.
It took Eli Manning about 4 years, and then the Giants took off and won a Super Bowl. I think whatever it was his 4th year, maybe.
Yeah.
But it kind of reminds me of that progression of where Danny Dimes is.
Baker Mayfield, he's going to get big. I like what he did with the Rams. We don't know if Matthew Stafford can come back. So I mean. This is the big key, and if Brady does go to Vegas, now you got a truckload going in the AFC with Burrow, Lawrence, Mahomes. I mean Herbert. I mean that's going to be something.
And let's get some comments in. We got some fans watching and listening. I appreciate everybody. I love that. Nora Perez, hey Nora, how you doing? Krista Marie, lots of love, sending a lot of hearts. She's throwing a lot of love at us. She's an awesome woman. Beautiful self.
Well, they know what time it is. They just probably finished dinner. They want to, they're not watching Jeopardy, the Family Feud. They're listening to us, man. They wish we were on 5 days a week. You know what's up.
Ralph, our good friend Ralph in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Ralph Williams, he was talking about Malik Willis. This was a guy that the Tennessee Titans drafted. Remember him, the quarterback? Everybody thought he was a first-round pick.
Came out of Liberty, I think.
I know, they're all saying the Steelers should pick this guy. Remember everyone was jumping on the Steelers should get Malik. I'm like, no, this guy is a disaster. He was a disaster. It was who knows, right? He may be Geno Smith.
Anybody coming out of a small school with 6 students is a disaster.
Liberty. That's what Liberty. That's what Ralph said. Steelers drafted Devin Bush is a bust. For where they drafted him, yes, no doubt. He said I was right. Hey, he's a great. Ralph likes me.
He's a great guy. Ralph's great.
Steph Bird Game, welcome in the show. Hey Nick, my nephew's watching. How about that? AZ Angel, Christine in the house. Elizabeth Fielder. Mary
Elizabeth, man. I'll tell you,
Kenny,
great. It's like a ladies' lounge here.
Kenny Salinas in the house. Hey, Kenny, nice to see you back in there. Lisa in the house, back in Iowa. Hello, Lisa. Kathy, happy birthday to Kathy. Kathy Shears, happy birthday, girl. Yes, we got to give a lot of love. I wanted to do that at the top of the show, but
Lisa can probably listen to our show and drive a John Deere at the same time.
Isabella Vega down in Tucson. Hey, Margie McAlleron is in the house. Margie. Didn't he play? Yes, Luis Sendejas did play for Jimmy Johnson, the Cowboys,
Yeah.
and Tom Landry. He played with Tom. I think he said Tom. Yeah, he had a great story about Tom Landry in practice. My first question for Luis was Zendejas was, all right, Cowboy kicker missed 3 extra points, basically field goals for the distance. Right? How does the kicker handle it? Blah blah blah. He goes, you know what? I missed 5 straight field goals in practice, and Tom Landry came over to me and he says, "You're gonna be okay. You're all right." And all right. All right. It was a good story. You got to look back on the show about he gave me some good stories about his days and Eagle stories.
I love Tom Landry, but did he ever sleep with that hat? That hat looked like it never came off his head.
I tell you what, man. The New York Giants football produced Vince Lombardi, Tom Landry, Bill Parcells. I mean, I'm trying to think who else they produced. So not a bad run there. Christopher Joseph, Chris Joe in the house. What's up, buddy? Checking in from South Carolina. Go Giants, G-Men, go Big Blue.
Gamecocks.
The Gamecocks. All right. I got to tell you the story. You brought it up. I'm down in Miami, University of Miami. It's the mid '80s. It's the Hurricanes. It's Jimmy Johnson. It's that era, right?
Yeah.
The Bad Boys.
Michael Irvin.
All that, the swag, and they're playing South Carolina, the Gamecocks, right? So I'm with my buddies, right? We're all excited to go to the night game in Miami. We're coming up the tunnel to go to our seats, and all we hear in the South Carolina fan section, that's where our tickets were okay. Go Cox, go. Gamecocks, folks, Gamecocks, okay? But I'm going, what the hell are they saying? Wow. Just one of those things. Hey, this is internet radio podcast. We can say anything. We're not getting sanctioned, folks. Sorry about that. But I am not apologizing because that's the truth. And then we're talking about what the perverted people are thinking. Okay, it was the Gamecocks.
Yeah.
I would never name my school that, the Gamecocks.
No, I don't think I would.
How many jokes they get? Like, how many times their rival teams come up with their jokes about,
Well, I wonder how many times somebody wants to sponsor them, like an adult bookstore or something. Yeah.
I mean, how many,
so many calls. Hey, can we sponsor your name here?
I mean, they can use the word soft. You're soft, man. You're soft. You're
can you imagine
stiff.
Can you imagine the dean? He probably says, you know what? Put that thing straight to answering machine. Get that thing. Don't answer it. Some lady sitting in there answering the phone.
I never forget that. And seeing these, I saw these women, they're so into their, Gamecocks, and they're going, go Cox, go.
Yeah.
With their pom. I'm like, oh my God, lady, relax. And then,
I don't want to say when they score a touchdown what they're throwing on the field.
All right. Todd. Hey, Todd. Welcome in, man. Great show, man. You'll want to replay it. From Luis Zendejas is on at 7:05, 5 minutes into the show, and I had him for about 45 minutes, and we went through so much. We went through the NFL playoffs. He really broke down some things and just really good insight. His son played with Brock Purdy at high school, at Perry High School here in Arizona. So he had a good bullseye view of him in high school and why he's not surprised that he went through all that. He went through the rival games this weekend in the NFL. It was really good. He talked about ASU football and what's going on there. Cardinals, breaking that down. Michael Bidwell, the owner of the Cardinals, and all the heat he's been taken, and he kind of laid it all out and gave some peace to that. And then his big foundation. He's got a big cancer event, survivor event coming up in February. All that Super Bowl stuff too. Great. So anybody who wants to watch, replay it, whatever, share it. This is a very informative show because Mark Mancini's on it, and number one, Mr. Info on the radio all over the freaking state of Arizona, from Arizona to LA to Chicago to Pittsburgh to Philadelphia to Miami to where else? I mean, where are you, man?
And blessed, man, and I don't know, you stay the course. It just goes to show you, you know what, when I first started radio, I had a good friend doing it, and he said, man, this is a joke, and I'm not going to do it. And it takes so long. And I said, you know what, you never know how long it's going to take to get to your dream, but It's never the goal. It's a journey, baby. And you don't know how many people give up on a dream before they realize how close they were.
All right, Mark, I found a photograph, folks. You know, when we talking about the Gamecocks and those fans, they're retired now. All right, so they are now retired somewhere in Florida playing pickleball.
I thought you were going to mention about the guy that spent $2.6 million on a ticket watch Messi play a game.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know. Stupid. I would never. But anyway, Mark, your thoughts on this? You know, pickleball is taking over, right?
Yeah.
But I think the Gamecock fans found themselves somewhere in South Carolina or maybe Florida, and this is what they're doing. They're playing nude pickleball.
Wow.
I don't want to see that.
Well, you know, I have no problem if they're, you know, at least in shape.
Yeah.
When they look like water buffaloes, I got a problem with that.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how to handle that. I mean,
wow.
I mean, supermodels and things like that. I'm sure
they're probably paying some of these guys just to keep their clothes back on.
I'm gonna build a pickleball court in my backyard and have a nude.
Taking off.
I'm gonna have the.
Where is this in Florida?
Oh, well, I have to admit, my brother told me about a place in Tampa. It's like the world's largest nudist colony in the world at the time. It's like it's in the Tampa area, and so my brother's like, you got to check this out. So I had enough nerve. I was like, I can't do this. Like, why am I doing? I don't care. I can't do this. I'm too like, right. So I go and the guy, he goes, well, what are you? Hey, you coming in? I'm like, you know, it's like a big gated thing, and I go,
yeah.
He brings me in on a golf cart, and everybody's freaking nude. Some guys walking down his driveway.
You know what? There's nothing wrong. You know, and
this guy's picking up his newspaper.
Yeah, I stumbled on it at a young age with a buddy of mine. The only problem is some of these people look like they haven't had sun. So you need to wear the shades, man, because you can get blinded, man.
All right, wow. I'm on this golf cart, Mark, and this guy's walking out to get the morning paper in nude. They're like, hey, how you doing, Bob?
Oh.
I'm like, all right, Bob.
Yeah, let me just back up and pick this thing up. Yeah.
And then guy's like, hey, let me show you all the activities around here.
And he takes me to tripping over a rock and going to a hospital and get bandaged up. And somebody says, well, how'd you do it? Well, I was at a nude colony.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Nudity is beautiful. It really is. And I am not condoning it. I had to get comfortable in my own skin to understand and you know. So anyway, new pickleball. I'm sure all over the nudist colonies all over the world are loving this. Pickleball. And the name pickleball.
Yeah.
Pickleball.
Wow.
All right, enough said.
Who's sponsoring this? Velasca? Remember Velasca?
I'm sorry.
You know, we can help these people out by getting them sponsors. You know.
Yeah.
You know, what's that other pickle company? Not only
Dill
Velasca,
Pickle.
There's Dill Pickle. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. All right. I'm trying to move on, but people are having a fun time with this. But hey, I'm okay with nudity, man. You know, I have a great place where you can.
Yeah, the listeners are going to be sending us photos of what they look like at these outside pickleball conventions.
If that takes off, then we're going to have, you know, nude NFL, like NFL nude football league. You know, we're going to have all this stuff. I mean, it's like, and I'm not going to complain. You know, I'm not going to complain. But you know,
Ralph sent me a message saying, "How come the guy in Tampa that we're on his show doesn't know anything about the nudist colony?"
Maybe he's embarrassed to talk about it.
He's not saying anything. He's keeping it to himself.
I want to play two-hand touch in these places, but then again, I don't want to be touching some, you know, 70-year-old lady, you know, and she's winking at me, you know. She catches the ball and she stops in her, you know, in her route, and she was like, "All right, honey."
Yeah, you get slapped with that Ben Gay all over you. Excuse me, now I gotta go.
All right. We may be killing it too much, but it's for real. Nickel pickleball, in your own privacy. It's okay. Nude basketball, whatever it takes. I mean, nude hiking. I mean, I think everybody has tried something. If you haven't, I think you should shed and play a sport in the nude and feel it all.
Yeah.
Okay? And don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to be seeing. I'll focus on the ball, not body parts. I don't know. Okay. All right. Who's going to focus on the ball this weekend in the NFL? Let's get towards the end of prediction time of the NFL with all right, we'll go AFC. We got great quarterbacks, the future, the now of the quarterbacks of the NFL. We got Burrow going up against Josh Allen, right? Then we got Trevor Lawrence trying to knock off Mahomes, right? Beautiful setup. I mean, the NFL is loving this, man. Loving this. I mean, they can't lose because whoever gets to the Super Bowl, they got a star quarterback coming out of the AFC. Like they're gonna have it. They're gonna ride it out completely. Right. But who breaks through? I mean, there's a ton of injuries in Cincinnati with their offensive line. Can they block and run the ball, which they need with Joe Mixon to have the play action and help out Javon Chase, that is. Their defense is okay. It's not like they get a lot of hype, but it's nothing spectacular about that defense in Cincinnati. And then you got the Josh Allen, who's always good and dangerous, but their defense is suspect now. Like, whose defense can I trust in the AFC, right? Because KC doesn't really scare me either. It is like they're all offense, and they're all like putting points on the board, But whose defense you can trust to make that one stop in the AFC? Jacksonville too.
Jacksonville's defense is something to watch, man. I mean, it carried him in the second half against Tennessee. And they completely shut down the Chargers in the second half of that game too.
Oh, tremendous!
So.
Awesome.
I think you got to watch out for the Jags defense. I don't think Kansas City's kind of seen this type of thing. If you looked at Kansas City's schedule earlier in the year, there were a lot of cream puffs that they got fat on real fast.
Well, the AFC West wasn't so good too, by the way.
Right. But, Jacksonville handled the Chargers twice. They almost went into Philadelphia, took their foot off the gas in the second half there. But after the Detroit game, they really haven't lost Jacksonville.
I got Buffalo winning. I really
like
believe
Buffalo too.
Offensive line. I think the offensive line of Cincinnati is going to give them problems because here's my deal. Buffalo is looking for their Von Miller moment, and they don't have him anymore. But they're going to get it because that offensive line is broken with a lot of injuries in Cincinnati. Just like a year ago, there was a mess. They're there again. And I believe Buffalo will get that sack at the right time in the big moment in the game, and and they're going to win. They're going to go on and play. And is it going to be a home game against Jacksonville? Beautiful for Buffalo, and they're going to go to the Super Bowl, I believe. If it's against Mahomes in Atlanta and that neutral site, Mahomes has never played a road game in the NFL playoffs, never. And if Buffalo wins. Kansas City knows the road to the Super Bowl is Atlanta. It goes through Atlanta, and Mahomes has never. And not that, but it's just something to think about. So I still see Kansas City and Buffalo at some point playing the AFC Championship game. That's what
everybody wants. But everybody likes Starbucks too. I like them cheap ass joints too that have the better coffee, and it's a lot less money. But
we'll ride Jacksonville. I know you're going Jacksonville.
I like Jacksonville and Buffalo. I think Cincinnati with Joe Cool, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. T. Higgins is another wide receiver somebody's going to snatch up here. I mean, he's going to get big money. But I just think Buffalo's got too much to play for with Hamlin there. Bills Mafia, the game's in Buffalo. They know what's riding on it. I like Jacksonville and Buffalo. On the other side, Saturday night's main event in Philadelphia, baby. New York Philly is going to be something, man.
Oh, I'm excited. I just got to see how Philly reacts with a lackluster kind of finish, and a lot of Jalen wasn't there, and they got time, and I'm sure he'll be fine after the first quarter. It all comes down to the Giants. How they come out of like they did against the Vikings. The Giants I thought they looked really good. They look
Got a
like a
balanced
team.
running attack. Saquon, they give him a balanced running back, but the Eagles can stop the run.
Of course, this is going to be
Yeah.
a great game. I just got to see if the Eagles, they got the Giants tag. I mean, like, doesn't matter what the Giants do. The Giants just screw it up when they play the Eagles. It's just been going on like that. But I will say this right now: the Giants will go to the Super Bowl if they beat the Eagles. I don't know if they win the Super Bowl, but if they win, they're going to go on and they're going to take out the Dallas and San Fran. They have the defensive front. They have the defense. That defensive front line, folks, you don't realize with Lawrence and the other guy, like they got some beef up there. So your running game is going to have a little bit of a problem against that front Giant defense. And then you said it, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. There's a little tandem there, right? So the Giants don't look pretty. They don't have all that. But if they can get past Philly, it's either, to me, it's Philly or the Giants going to the Super Bowl.
I think I like Philly in this game. I think it's going to be a close game. But I will tell you this: the Dallas San Francisco, I got Dallas winning this one just for the simple fact I don't think Purdy's faced a team like this quite a while. The Cowboys trying to win a playoff game. This would be the first time in 30-something years that they won back in San Francisco when Troy Aikman was quarterbacking. So I like Dallas. I think Micah Parsons, what they showed me against Tampa is they'll play a prevent defense on you.
Right.
San Francisco's got, they got guys with wide receivers and everything, but Tampa had some wide receivers too, and Dallas held them in check. I think if it comes down to Dak versus Purdy, and I like the Cowboys going to Philly, and that'll be another war.
Wow, what a war!
Let me tell you something here. On the NFC side of things, I'm a big Skins fan. 3 of the 4 teams in the NFC, I'm saying to myself, if you knock the 49ers out, where the hell are my Skins, baby? Bring them in this, and we'd have the whole NFC East playing.
The Washington Commanders. You're right, and they came close. They're awfully close to getting into the playoff. But my final 4, I'm seeing Philly or the Giants in it, and I really don't care who's in the between the Niners and the Cowboys. I still think, to me, the Giants will have the mojo of that wild card team that runs it. The NFL has that, and the Giants are on that path. I believe Jacksonville has that mojo. We'll see, but I think the Giants, and if they lose to the Eagles, it's like I think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl because after one game, getting themselves back on track, getting their quarterback in rhythm again and all that, I think they go into the NFC Championship game, kicking butt because they got that one big game and they got past the Giants. It may not be pretty, but they need a game. And I think from them, the doors are open for them to go all the way to the Super Bowl. It could be, Philly, Buffalo would be a great one, a great Super Bowl. That's pretty much where I'm looking at it right now. If I'm going to call the shot, is Philly and Buffalo.
Yeah, that's what I like too. I like Philly, Buffalo. My second choice before they got knocked out was Tampa Bay and Cincinnati.
I wouldn't mind seeing Tom back one more year. Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think I think he's going to Vegas.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. My friend Mike Jurecki said the same thing because they just got to build an offensive line and do some better things over there before he goes over there because he'll just get destroyed. He's a lame.
I think it's Tampa. A lot of rumors have circulated in Miami, but I don't think so. I don't think.
So Ralph agrees. Buffalo and Philly in the Super Bowl. Dino says Bengals and Eagles. That's not a bad one.
Wow.
Well, obviously, between Ralph and Dino, whoever wins that Buffalo Bengals, right, is going to the Super Bowl. Who else is in here? Andreas. Hey, Andreas.
Philly Jacksonville wouldn't be a bad one either.
It wouldn't be. I would love that. It's all here in Arizona. Super Bowl 57.
Jacksonville is one of 4 teams that's never been in the Super Bowl.
Yes, and never won. The teams that are remaining that have never won a Super Bowl: Cincinnati, Buffalo, Jacksonville. Yes, and of the AFC. So the AFC has a great chance of a team winning their first Super Bowl. 3 of the 4 teams, obviously, Kansas City's got theirs.
You
The
know, who would
Giants,
win? You know, I wanted to ask you real quick. I know we're up against the clock. Who would
yeah.
win in a wrestling match between Brian DeBall and Andy Reid?
Wow. Andy Reid has never lost weight, man. That guy just looks like he's just been big.
Yeah.
You know, the Dallas Cowboys coach is pretty big.
He must put a lot of restaurants in Kansas City out of business.
I think McCarthy gained a lot of weight since he's been in Dallas.
Yeah. He's a Pittsburgh guy too.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple of
the
guys
other one from Buffalo coach is a Pittsburgh guy, a Pennsylvania guy. Yeah.
What's going on up there? How come...
They get quarterbacks and they get coaches.
All right, that's good stuff, man. Hey, all right, just stay away from
little spring training, baby, in March out there with you.
You want to come out for that?
Yeah, gonna be out there for that. Yeah.
All right, I like it. Let's see.
I know the hotels will be double the price, so we have to move in with you for 3 days.
Okay, I know. I well, no, you're more than welcome to stay here. Definitely, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I got plenty of room at my house. Plenty of room, and I got the Cubs and the A's the closest to me, so that's a quick hit. And I like the Cubs. What they're trying to build there. The Angels, the Angels. Those are my trio. Then the Giants are a little bit in Scottsdale. That's about it. Those are the teams that I'll hit. You know, Diamondbacks and the Diamondbacks and my mind's
they're
slipping on.
over near the Dodgers, I think, right?
Yeah.
No, they're in Talking Stick.
They're talking, yeah. So there's a lot. There's a lot. What's fun to do spring training is get a day game, and sometimes they have a night game, and you can just get out if you're really into it. But then you got the World Baseball Classic. We have Mexico, Canada, right? Mexico, Canada, and Colombia is in it, and the United States. I think that's the group that plays in Arizona. There's a group down in Miami, playing in Miami. That's what the South American teams are playing. And then the World Baseball Classic is going to be also in Japan and somewhere else, like Taiwan or something like that. But we're definitely going to try to check out the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah,
I did it before.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder where the championship game is going to be. Dodger Stadium again?
Why? Because it's the situation with Japan. We're not traveling to Japan. This is kind of like a Major League Baseball developing classic. I will say this: Major League Baseball is making sure, or at least America is making sure, that MLB players, born American baseball players, our best ones, are going to be on that roster. Where in the past, a lot of them did not play. Not all of them. You're not going to see Aaron Judge. You're going to see Pete Alonso in there. You're going to see
Bryce Harper.
Arenado is in there. Nolan. Bryce is on the roster. I know he's injured. You're going to see a lot of bigger and better names. They want to win. They're tired of this BS. Remember the basketball when all the college players are getting beat in the Olympics? And they said, screw it.
They won the last go around.
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah. But, back in the day, before it became the dream team, the United States said, screw this. Like, we're going to throw out Michael Jordan. It's like, you know what? We're going to shut your asses up and just show you that, your little powder puff 3-point shots and are not going to go well.
Yeah, you're right.
I think the American baseball team, the only thing that concerns me with the World Baseball Classic team is their pitching has some older arms in there, like Wainwright and Kershaw. And I'm kind of like, all right.
Hey, how's the Pokemon Arena where the Coyotes are playing? Are they still selling the joint out?
Yeah. It's a raucous place. They got a couple of games coming up. I got to make a decision. I got to go to either spend money on the Coyote game next week or go to Ancient Alien, the show, the live show. You ever watch the Ancient Alien show on whatever?
Well, can't you get credentialed? Can't you get? How many people can fit in the press box too?
Seriously.
Wow.
But there's a lot of standing room and
imagine that. Imagine being in the press box and you got 2 people there and the guy's been covering ASU for 30 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're gonna give it to him. We don't know you. Wow.
Anyway, you got to get out here. If you don't, maybe you make it out for Super Bowl week and all the parties.
You know what you should do for the guy that's covering the game for 30 years? just give them a free pass for the nude pickleball, and they'll give you a seat.
All right. Here's a good. Would you go to a nude pickleball tournament? The nude pickleball tournament. Would you go to that, folks? Could you do? I'd rather go see nude bull riders, women bull riders, actually. I from other reasons. But if you're going to see nude sports, what sport would you go to?
Well, I don't know. Well, you've left it wide open. If you say go to, I'd like to be a judge for one of those things.
Oh, I would, of course, I would like to see nude bowlers. I mean, women nude bowlers, because I get,
Right.
you get to see them from behind and nice, stuff.
Now you
All right, Mark.
maybe the Coyotes need to do that. Then they're first and second period, second and third. Get the women that clean the ice skating nude out there.
Too
Somebody
funny.
will throw a blanket.
All right, so somebody in America is going to strip clubs and going to have like a charity event with strippers playing nude pickleball, and guys are going to show up and pay and donate for the charity to watch strippers play nude pickleball. There you go. I just said it, and somebody's going to steal my idea.
Watch your phone blow up before we get on the show next week.
Okay. All right. So all right. Somebody's going home playing pickleball this weekend, and we called it out there. So we'll see what happens, Mark. Next Thursday, I'm going to put the music up, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we can't go out quiet. Like, oh, wait. Folks. This is one of my favorite. Did I play the wrestling video last week? Did you see that one?
I thought maybe you might have. I don't know if you did.
Okay.
We can go out with Tom Petty's Don't Come Around Here No More either.
All right. I had a bull riding thing I was going to show you. But anyway, it don't matter. We're out, Mark. It's almost top of the hour. We've been on almost 2 hours. Had a great show. We had a great show. We had Luis de Dejas for 45 minutes at the top of the show. I chatted for about 20 minutes. Then Mark Mancini came in with the Hannah Mancini version of the show. It was, hey, folks, share this. This is a good show. I'm loving this one. This is it. And, Mark, we're going to have to get...
I love you, baby. You know it.
I know. You're the madman. And I love the madman.
I'm trying to... next week we'll find a sponsor for South Carolina.
That's a good one. I'll never forget that day. Go Cox, go! Go Cox, go! All right. All right, Mark. Love you. Bye-bye. Mark Mancini's Gonzo. And I'm out of here, too. Hannah Time, Global Sports Broadcasting Network, GSPN, Cornelius Brad. Hannah, we are out.